Greetings, everybody. I'm Larry, the Pen Bug Guy here, and welcome to the Pen Bug Chat number 60 today. Today we're going to talk about Noodlers inks and fountain pens, as well as the Lamy inks and fountain pens. And why am I doing this? Well, because I've had some emails from about 12 different people asking these questions. So I was going to shoot it out to whoever is going to be on watching today and see if we can get some input to see if we can answer some of the questions. Okay. Well, first of all, the first question, let's just start with the Noodlers. Uh, are Noodlers that good of a pen for newbies? And would you recommend these pens for a newbie? Well, the Ahab uh, Noodlers pens are like, what, 20 bucks, something like that. Hello, David. So, any inputs on the Ahabs, the Noodler Ahabs? What do y'all think about the Noodler Ahab? Hello, David C. Leave your comments below. Let me know, and Mr. Announcer will read them out loud. So, personally, I like the Noodlers Ahab myself. In fact, I've been using them lately.
David C. says no, that they're not good beginner pens, and hello to Frank and George.
So there's one saying a no, they're not good for beginner pens. So, all right. Anybody else have any input on that? Um, I like the Noodlers Ahab. Like I said, I'm using them right now. Uh, but would they be good for a person just coming out to getting into fountain pens? That's going to be kind of tricky. Go ahead.
Okay, David says the smell combined with needing a good bit of modification to be reliably used makes it hard for him to recommend. David L. hasn't used one yet, but was about to pick one up.
Okay. So now remember, everybody. So everybody's going to have their own opinion. So, uh, and that's David C's opinion. Now, what about the Lamy? I'm not sorry, the Noodler's Conrad. How about that one? Anybody feedback on that one? Nice piston filler on it, and they're like what, almost 40 bucks for a newbie.
Kara has a Noodler's Ahab.
And what do you think about the Noodler's Ahab, Kara? Would you recommend this for a newbie or not? Now, these are the folks out there that are giving their comments and their personal opinions on it. So, go ahead.
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to interpret it. She said probably not for a beginner. David C. has the same opinion on the Conrad.
Okay, so, and we got a no on the Ahabs, and we got a no on the Conrad. Anybody else out there? La 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 la. As time flips by. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Ray Stevens recommends the Ahab.
We got a recommendation for the Ahabs. I feel like an auctioneer. What do I bid for this blue Ahab?
Uh, let's see. The Conrad is a great pen once you've acquired some knowledge after a bit of time with pens.
Now, let me tell you a brief story right quick on this. I started out with the Ahab. In fact, it's in my briefcase, but with the clear one and the blue one. And yeah, I being brand new, I had some difficulties with it. Not a bad pen, but I'm using them now, and now after I'm acquainted with fountain pens, I like it. Anything else?
Not yet.
Okay, well, moving along. If any other comments on the Noodlers, let them come out. Now let's get to and then we'll go to the inks in a minute.
Hello to Arturo, who likes the Conrad.
Cool, well, that's all right. All right, all right. And then let's go with we're going to go into the Lamy now. Lamy All-Star, Lamy Safari right now. That's the only ones we're going to be talking about. No others, just the Safari and the Lamy All-Star. So, and here they are. Here's the All-Star. And the the Lamy Safari, that special edition, and then another Lamy Safari. So, what do y'all think about these for a newbie? They're what, like $38, $27. Talking about the All Star and Safari. Would you guys recommend these to a newbie, yay or nay? And if it's a nay, why not?
David says, yeah, the Lamy Safari All Star is a great beginner pen. Frank says they're good starters. David L says, absolutely.
There you go. So it looks like the Lamy Safaris and All Stars have jumped ahead of the Noodlers Ahab and Conrad. Okay. If there's any more comments, feel free to leave them, and Mr. Announcer will shout them out. Now let's go into the inks. All right. Now let's go into the Noodlers inks. They have the dark lilac. They have the blue, and then they came out with that pink one, vibrant pink. What do y'all think about those? Are those a good color for a newbie to get into? I was asked these questions and I'm throwing them out.
Okay, back to the pens a second. Brad, hello Brad, likes the Lamys as well.
Okay. Well, so far it looks like the Lamys are taking it tonight. So let's get back to the inks.
What about the Pilot Metropolitan as a beginning pen?
Well, the reason why I didn't bring that up because that hadn't been in the emails. The only emails I'm receiving right now are the Noodler Ahabs and the Lamy Safaris and All Stars. That's why I'm just picking on those topics. So let's go to the inks. The Lamy inks. Would you recommend those for a newbie? Anybody can use them, right? So, would you recommend them for a newbie? I've had people brand new at fountain pens asking me these questions, and with that question, they're saying, do I have to use a Lamy ink with a Lamy fountain pen? No, you don't.
Okay, David L started with Noodlers and thinks it was amazing. Would recommend it for a beginner.
Okay.
Brad, are you? I'm not sure, Brad. Have you got the right name there? The state blue, Stain State Blue is easy to use.
Bay State Blue, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking Bay State Blue is what he's saying. Yeah, hard to clean up. David C doesn't care for the Lamy inks as much. Vibrant pink was a bore.
Yes.
Dark lilac was great but limited.
Yeah.
Other inks are washed out.
Yeah. Yeah. I have the dark lilac. I have that still. I have the Lamy turquoise. I kind of dig that. And then I got the vibrant pink. That one went to Cara. That's who I really got it for. But I had to sample it. But to me, it was a major disappointment.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jerry. I didn't catch exactly what that meant. Lamy cartridges, David says, are Lamy use only, of course.
Yes, they're the long ones.
Non-standard cartridges.
Yeah. Now, guys, would you recommend those for a beginner, or does it matter?
Carol loves the pink.
Good. I'm so glad, Carol.
Okay, I got you on that, Brad.
So, would you guys recommend for a newbie? The Lamy think so? And it's quiet. And everybody's thinking, While they're thinking, I'll have me a drink real quick. Think of air. Huh. Okay, they're good. We got one, they're good. They are good. All right, that's one from Franco.
Hello to Luxvis. Metropolitan says is a good starter pen.
Yes, it is. But right now we're just talking on Lamys and Noodlers, the ones I mentioned. Yeah, nobody has sent me emails on those pens yet. So this was the only topic I was going to talk about tonight. Okay, so let's move on from the Lamy inks. Didn't get a bunch of feedback on that. So let's go into the Noodlers inks. Now, as we all know, Noodlers has an abundance of ink. So
Quick on the Lamy, David L. says that they would be good for a beginner.
Okay. So now we're going to go into the inks. We're on to Noodlers inks right now. For anybody that's just joined in, I am covering these two topics because of emails. The Lamy Safari, Lamy All Star, and the Noodlers Ahab and Conrad uh, are they good beginners pens? And I'm talking about their inks, and I'm getting feedback from everybody else. And this is where we're at now. We're on the Noodlers inks right now. Okay. Anything? Shoot them out, Mr. Announcer.
Okay, we've got several coming in all at one time here. Hello to Greasy Pete. Frank says lots of choices with Noodler's ink. Uh, Jerry, I don't think there's a chicken noodle ink. Um, hello to Luke. Let's see. Luxvis likes bulletproof and eternal inks. Eternal darkness is good. Brad likes Noodler's fluorescent highlighter inks. David L. likes Noodler's so many colors to choose from. Navajo turquoise is his favorite. George likes Noodler's black.
How about the Noodlers El Lawrence? How about the Noodlers Apache Sunset? You know, they got Noodlers just has an abundance of inks. I mean, they just keep coming.
Uh, David C. says it's kind of a roll of the dice that there are some good inks and bad inks, both in the Noodlers line.
I think that's good with any brand. At least for me, I see that way. So, would you guys recommend Noodlers inks to the newbies that are just getting into fountain pens? And if you do recommend it, what particular Noodlers ink would you recommend?
Let's see. We've got several votes for the Apache Sunset. Luke says that Noodler is not his thing. He's not had some good experience with their inks. Diamine Salamander is better green black than L. Lawrence, which may not be for beginners there. And David L. likes Noodler's black and blue for starters inks. And okay, Jerry, I get this one. Jay Silverheels likes Apache Sunset. That's Tonto.
Ah, long job.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, Mike.
He likes. He wanted to like Apache Sunset, but it was too light for him. He likes Bay State Blue as much as some people hate it. He also likes Concord Grape.
I like Bay State Blue. I love it.
Let's see. Luke would recommend Waterman instead. David C. likes Noodler's Borealis Black. And hello to Sean, who likes Lexington Gray.
Okay. What is that one that Goulet came out with? Noodler Liberty. What is it called? Liberty something by Noodlers. Liberty some kind of ink. Help me out on that, anybody, if you remember the name.
Elysium.
Yeah, that's it, the Elysium. Yeah, Liberty. What do y'all think about that ink? Would that ink be a good for a beginner, or isn't that just a good old basic standard ink?
Michael says it's a great one too.
Okay. So really, what are some inks in the Noodler line that you would say stay away from because they might be too heavy to get into for a new person just coming in?
Okay, David C. says the Elysium is too dry at times. David L. likes the Noodler's Habanero as another one.
Well, I have to agree on David on that one. See, yeah.
Sean says General of the Armies is a fun ink.
Yeah, I've yet to use that one yet.
Frank says Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky.
Whew, that's a mouthful, Frank. Thank you.
Yeah, Bay State Blue,
Rock on.
which
Yeah.
is actually one of Larry's favorites, is Messiaen Stains.
Yes, yes. Give me some of that good old stainy Bay State Blue.
Let's see. George says Black Swan in a Bed of Roses is a fun ink.
Yes, yes.
David L. can't think of any offhand. Okay, David C. says stay away from Bulletproof, General of the Armies, Rome Burning, Kung Tae Chang, and other Bay states would be ones for newbies to stay away from. Michael wants to try out Habanero, 54th Massachusetts, and Black Swan in Australian Roses. David L. says the mark of a true penman is ink-stained hands.
Yes, and I get those all the time.
Luxvis, the ones that feather a lot should be stayed away from, and also the ones that take a long time to dry. Those would be ones for newbies to stay away from.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go into a whole new topic for beginners. I wouldn't ask the questions, but since we've been hitting on the topic that I was thinking of anyway, recommend folks only one pen mentioned that you can recommend for a beginner. I would go with the Metropolitan Pilot.
Okay, waiting for the pen comments. While we have that one, while we're waiting on those, David C. says the Texas Bluebonnet ink was a disappointment. I don't remember seeing that one yet.
Yeah, me neither. All right, you got one.
Okay, David L. likes the Pilot Metropolitan.
It's two.
Yeah, and that's what Michael used,
Michael.
and Sean says the Pilot as well.
Yep, Pilot's kicking. A wing song.
Luke says the Wing Sung 3008.
Okay.
Another Metro.
Yep.
Kakuno from Frank.
All right.
Gin House from David L.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Dromgool from David C.
Never even heard of that one.
Oh, I saw the sign at the pen show.
Okay. I totally missed that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, David. Were you saying the Bluebonnet ink? Okay, that's probably what. Let's check here.
Preppy's a good one. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Also, Greasy Pete says $2 or $3 Gin House. Okay, yeah, 250 bulletproof. Sean says the Kaveco Sport, and yes, the Texas Bluebonnet ink is a Dromgool's exclusive ink, so that's why we haven't seen it. Brad likes the Platinum Preppy.
All right. Now, real quick, I'm going to leave that real quick, and I'm going to go into an ink I really have liked. When we were at our last pen club, Fort Worth Pen Club meeting a few weeks back, David C. Brought some ink for it. What was it? The KWZ Hawaii Blue, and that's a Hippo exclusive. And I ordered that and got it, and I've got 2 pens inked up with it. That's how much I love the stuff. I love the stuff. I could just about darn near drink it. So if you see me blue one day, I had too much Hawaiian blue. Can you dig it? Back to you. All right. So looks like Metropolitan has taken the lead, or an overwhelming lead on. Oh,
don't do it. Yes.
Yeah. An overwhelming lead looks like. Yes, don't drink the ink, folks. Yes, it might not work well in your innards, but yeah, don't drink the ink. Yes, it was just a Jellicoe. So anyway, that's going to cover that. Now, last but not least, here we go. Another real big important question that has been asked to me many, many times, and it continues to come back and be asked again over and over again. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Now, what is the best paper for newbies that are just getting into the fountain pen? Remember, for newbies, the best paper. Recommendations, let them fly.
Okay, David L., Rhodium number 16.
Okay. Don't be bashful, let them fly.
Rhodia from Frank.
Okay.
David L. as well.
And Clairefontaine.
Sean says Rhodia or Clairefontaine. Also from Luke and from Brad, Rhodia. George says Rhodia. Padrino says Rhodia. Hey, Padrino.
Padrino. All right. Looks like Rhodia's being the dominant tonight. Rhodia is dominating tonight. All right. Since we gone with the Rhodia over the... Oh, okay, you got one.
Yeah, here, Sustainable Earth Sugarcane from Staples. Michael likes the Rhodia dot pad, but also the Kikuyo and Apica make good notebooks as well, and they're inexpensive.
Okay, real quick, guys. Since you all recommended the Rhodia over the Clairefontaine, why? Why makes Rhodia a good, perfect entry-level paper?
Let's see. We also have a recommendation from Frank for the Red and Black Office Depot. Brad says Rhodia is well behaved. David C. says a cheap beginner notebook is the Ubi notebooks at Target. And let's see, Padrino uses Apica and Midori MD as well. Also at Frank is recommending something from Michael's. And Jerry's being funny tonight. Brad says the Rhodia is easier to find than Clairefontaine. Yeah, availability and quality is something to consider when looking for the paper. Okay, Rhodia is available at Michael's, says Frank.
Okay, now we're going to stop right there. So everybody, hold your horses. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to go into converters. Let's start with the Noodler converter. Sometimes with the converter, with the Noodlers, and I'm not picking on Noodlers by no means, when you pull it back, it's kind of tough because if it sits in there in that cylinder for a while, it gets kind of tough. So wouldn't you recommend to grease it with a little of that grease that you would use, the silicone grease on it, to make it slide back and forth a little bit easier? They're easy to come out, yes, take them apart. So, or what would you recommend to keep your converter more easier access to push in and out? Because I am going to I use silicone grease on mine, and it works great.
Yeah, Padrino uses silicone grease on his piston converter in the Ahab.
Yeah, exactly. And believe it or not, I even use that. I use it a little bit in my. Come to me here. Homo sapien. I'll do that a little bit in there.
Yeah, Frank and Luke also both use the silicone, as well as David L.
Okay. In fact, tomorrow I'll be doing a lot of work on pens, be lubricating them a lot. So, yeah. Okay, now here's another question. And I know what the answer is, but I am going to throw it out anyway. Why? Because I can. All right. For newbies, this is all about newbies. All about newbies. I mean brand spanking new. You got it? All right. Do you recommend a newbie to start working on their nibs to make them wetter, to make them smoother? Yes or no? And if it's a yes or a no, why?
Big no from Padrino. No from Luke.
I would go with no myself. That's right, Dave.
No from David C.
That's right, Dave. Hell, David just said it like it is.
Brad says no. And Lexus and Greasy Pete all say no.
Okay, folks, now let's hold it right there. All right, now explain to these folks why not do this.
David L. says, get some advice from a more experienced pen person. Brad ruined a nib trying to make it wetter.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, if you don't know what you're doing and you're brand new with fountain pens, you can ruin a nib.
Too technical from Luke.
Yep, you got to be real careful.
David L. says, of course, you can be damage it if something goes wrong. Frank says you need to be familiar with what's good and bad. Luxus ruined a nib because he didn't know how far to go. For Padrino, actually don't even have enough experience to know what you want from a pen. Let's see, David C., you wouldn't have a clue to when you start out. Padrino says, I would recommend trying a variety of different nibs and pens rather than trying to mess with them. Michael messed with 2 fountain pens and it nearly turned him off fountain pens. Luckily, they were cheap Jin House.
That's a good one.
Uh, Experimenting with the nibs, different nibs, that way you know what you want, and otherwise they'll end up trying to make a nib do something it's not designed to. David C. recommends some number 6 Jovos to start with. And Brad Pierce says YouTube videos are helpful, but not the same as hands-on experience.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, there's all kinds of information out there on the internet, on YouTube, on how to tune up your nibs. There's all the abundance of it. It's everywhere, man, from wall to wall. But when you really actually get your hands on that nib, you better be darn sure that you're ready to take on that task because, you know, I don't think it's going to be that easy for a newbie getting that nib. And do you have everything that you need at your fingertips to do the job you need to do? And most of all, are you sure you're going to be know what you're going to be doing within time? So, yeah. And in fact, you know, when you get to that point, I'd recommend you get a cheapo nib. You know, get a Jinhao nib or something that doesn't cost much at all. That's what I would do. You can buy Jinhao nibs all day long for hardly nothing.
Brad says even flossing a nib is harder than it looks on YouTube.
Yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, I like my nibs to write wet. I don't care how wet. Love them wet. And do I make all my nibs wet? No. Some most of them, yeah, but not all of them. Some I just leave like they are. Okay. All right, folks. Here's another question. Are we ready? School is in. All right. And the pin book says to you guys, what nib would you recommend? Extra fine, fine, medium, broad, 1.1, 1.5, 1.3, 1.9, 2 and up. What nib would you recommend to a newbie just hitting the road with fountain pens?
Okay, we have a looking good from Music. Hello,
Hey,
Music
music.
Bubble. Luxus says Japanese fine or medium. David L, medium. Padrino, fine to medium. Greasy Pete, medium. Uh, Music Bobo, a fat nib. Michael, a medium. Frank, a medium, depending on how large they write. David would ask, how do they write with a normal pen? Arturo says medium. Brad is asking Japanese or European. Luke says medium. George says medium. Brad says never start with Japanese extra fine.
No.
Hello, Brumario, and he says medium.
Hey, Bernario.
David C, if they have small pinched writing, extra fine, otherwise medium bold. Music, the bolder the better, fat italic, which sets fountain pens apart from regular pens. Luke says extra fine and fine need more control. And I'll add on that personally. I think I would try fine first because my handwriting is so cramped when I try to broad nib that it was impossible to read. Um, let's see. David L says it's a good starting point because you can go broader or finer depending on how they write. Be the medium being a starting point.
Interesting. Anybody else? All right, now, no more comments. So now, off to another topic. And it's all again about newbies. Remember, it's all about newbies. A newbie, what's your recommendations for a newbie going to their first pin show on how much money to spend, what to look for? Can you share your first experience, you guys, on your first time you went to your first pin show? Did you have everything down like a list of what you planned on doing at the pin show? Plan on buying or looking at? What? Go with cash.
Go with cash. I would. I'm gonna make a guess there. Go with cash rather than credit because you can always make yourself stop with cash. David L hadn't been to one, so this will be good advice for him. I would say go with goals in mind, but be reasonable on the goals.
You know, I've heard not everybody, not all vendors take credit cards. Believe it? Yep, that's what I've heard. Some just take strictly cash.
Music wants to get a wet noodle at a pin show. Let's see. George says have to budget how much to spend. Padrino says also people who you pay cash with may also give you a discounts since not all vendors take credit cards. Jerry says if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it.
Yeah, yeah.
Luke hasn't been able to go one yet. David L, you can also see the money leaving your pocket with cash, whereas credit you can't. Let's see. Brad says try out inks and bring a pen that isn't quite right to have a pro tune it. And hello, books are a reason. Found that walking through the whole show first before making a purchase useful.
That's a good idea. That's a real good idea.
George says be sure to bargain.
Okay, let's go to the bargain. Stop right there, everybody. Hold your horses. Oh, you can show your tips, David. Okay. Walk through the whole store. Yeah. Wasn't that the one I was going to focus on?
Bargaining.
Bargaining. I'm sorry. Bargaining. All right. Share your thoughts about bargaining and how, give an example how you would bargain if you went to somebody's table. Because, you know, some vendors don't dig it. They get kind of chapped. How do I know? I've seen it, not by me trying to bargain. I've seen these dudes trying to bargain with a vendor, and the vendor was getting all bent out of shape because the vendor knew what he wanted, and it was in the store, and they tried to keep going down, and he wasn't budging, you know. So if you have any input on bargaining, let's hear it. All about newbies, because you know you're going to have newbies going into the first fountain pen show, and they're definitely going to try to bargain. They're going to try to get a $300 pen for $50.
Okay, if it's an individual seller with some older stuff, ask for their best price and then ask to if they'll take a little less for it.
I like that. I like that intro there. Yes. Hello, I'm whatever. What's your best price on that? None of your business. Bye.
If it's an established retailer, Padrino never asks for discounts, just takes the price as it is.
Yeah, I'm the same, Padrino.
Ask if they're willing to accept a certain figure.
Real quick on Anderson pens, I know for a fact that if you go to the last day of the show and they have stuff on the table, I believe it's Monteverde's and Kaufman, stuff like that. Uh, I know that at sometimes they will negotiate maybe a little bit lower, but I have never tried to do that with Anderson pins and folks like that.
Ask the best price as opposed to the worst price. George says, go to it with no pressure, just conversational.
Yep.
Lexus, you must know the going price before you begin to negotiate, so be familiar with the product and be reasonable that they always throw in something for you.
On Here's one for you guys. Here's a fountain pen. Let's say an example, a fountain pen that costs $300 and or best offer. What would you start your bidding at? Fountain pen for $300 or best offer. What would you start your bid off at to try to get that pen you want for $300?
And while we're waiting on that, attitudes to have would be being respectful and relaxed and pleasant and jovial. Definitely, you don't want to come across militant about them. Okay, we've got votes for 220,
Yep.
150.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that was my thinking. Yeah.
255, 200.
Okay, let's move on to another one. What is a pen worth to you? Okay, let's say you're uh, in a bidding war and they have a pen for $300. Uh, how much would you bid for that pen if you really wanted it? Would you bid 275, 280, or would you just go ahead and buy it now for 300?
Let's see, asking less than 60% can come across as rude. If you think it's worth 250, stick around there to begin with. Beware of auction fever.
Yes, beware, beware, beware.
Never buy more than market price. To answer your question, buy it straight away.
A real story on that, real quick. When I first got into the fountain pen stuff, okay, I got into the auctioning. Right, don't even know what I was doing, and I won an auction of $175. I forgot what it was, and I didn't even want the pen. I didn't even know what I was doing, and I got this message: "Congratulations, you won. You're the highest bidder. You won it." What did I win? What did I win? I didn't want that pen. Well, I went ahead and ate it because I didn't want to, get a black ball. So be careful. So yeah, I got a pen I didn't even want, $175. So yeah, be real careful, real careful. Okay, folks. One more time. Let's go back to the paper. Favorite papers. My favorite paper, mine, not yours, mine, is Tomo River paper. I like that in my journals, notebooks, my pen pal letters. That's what I use. When I do my writing samples here at the house, I'll either use Rhodia or whatever I have available at the time. Anybody out there that has their favorite? To me, Tomo River is the best. And I love it. And that's all I've been using. I stick pretty much to Tomo River paper.
We've got a vote for Apica Premium.
That is good paper, yes. Life is good paper.
Brad says Tomoe River is great but hard to find. Padrino found a Tomoe River notebook that he likes. He's got a bunch of Rhodia notebooks as well. Luke likes Life.
Yeah.
And David C. likes the Hippo Noto.
Okay.
David L. likes the Rhodia. Books are a reason asked. Have you tried the Taroko Shop Enigma notebook? It's the thicker GSM Tomoe River paper and is his current favorite.
No, no, I haven't. Mine so far is just the what 52 G's on that Tombo.
So her, sorry.
Her. Oh. No, 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 no. Welcome to the jungle. Yes, yes. Okay, folks. Now let's get off the newbies fountain pen. Let's get on to our fountain pen world. All right. For right now, this very second, what is your pen carry for today? What do you think?
Um, well, Pedrino said he got some of that Taroko shop.
Pen carries for today. Anybody like to share? Looking for pen carries for today. Well, I'll share mine.
David has 30 of them inked up, so no space to type.
No. Yeah, David does have 30 inked up.
Okay, we have Pedrino has a Homo sapiens Jade. Luxus has a Kakuno transparent extra fine. Michael has a Namisu Ixion with Platinum 3776. Music has a Uniball Vision Elite Bold. David L. has Conklin All-American and Monteverde Tool Pen. Brad Pierce, a Sailor 1911 Tangerine. Kara has her Wing Sung 698 with Organic Studio Emily Dickinson. Luke has Karis Custom Ink. George Noodlers Ahab with L. Lawrence. Books are a reason. She has about a dozen of the Gin House Sharks inked up, and 3 Eyedropper Preppies. Greasy Pete has a Parker Sonnet. Arturo has a Parker 300. Frank has a Twisby Echo Stub. David C. is, let's see, he's used his 70s 149 and a KWZ Warsaw Dreaming.
Wow. Whew, you guys are ready. Anytime I go to the Forward Pen Club, I always like to sit close to David C. Why do I like to sit close to David C? Well, he's a cool guy, but he's got all them delicious pens.
Let's see, Sean has Pelican 140 and 400, Sailor 1911 large, medium, and extra fine, Parker Duofold Centennial medium, and Lamy 2000 Platinum Carbon black ink. Let's see, Music, the regular desk pen these days is an Italic Bold Stub Cheap Pilot. And Frank agrees, he had cool pens. See, Sean's carrying 6 of them.
Okay. Wow. Well, that was heavy. Whew. Wow. When you guys finish with the ink in your pens, do you re-ink it with the same ink, or do you clean your pen out when you get through with the pen right then, or do you wait till later that day or the next day?
Same ink from Luke. David L. cleans it up immediately and goes on to a different ink. Pedrino cleans it out and puts it up and then goes on to the next pen. Brad cleans immediately. Luke, each pen has its own ink. For Frank, it depends. So Luke's does both, sometimes re-ink, sometimes clean it. David C. clean it immediately, then set it aside. The Music likes the same ink and the same pens. Pete cleans out after using regardless. Sean will change the ink multiple times a day, but cleans it a great deal when changing color.
Okay, All right, this is the last one.
Michael puts it aside and cleans it later if he's changing his rotation.
Okay, here's one for you guys. Are you ready for this one? I have a friend of mine, uh, Dr. Holstein, and on his pens, on his fountain pens uh, that he's not using, he keeps in the converter water inside of it, which responds to that. And he's done that for years, and it doesn't hurt his pens.
And regarding cleaning, Arturo cleans his immediately. Padrino says no to the water.
Why is that, Padrino? Dr. Holstein has done his for years, and it had never hurt his pens. I've never heard of it till he told me.
He'll clean it completely out and dry it and then put it up. So are you saying, does he store it with water inside?
Yeah.
Just keeps it on the shelf in storage.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. He'll put his pens up like he always does in his pen case until he uses it again. But in the converter, he keeps a little bit of water in there at all times. He's always done that for years. And his Pelican 1000, Pelican 800s, Mont Blanc 149s, and whatever else he has.
Yeah, David C. and Brad both agree that keeping it clean and dry would be best. Let's see. Books Are Reason says, wouldn't you have to leave the pen to dry for a day before inking it up so that you wouldn't dilute the ink if it had water in it? So, you'd have to dry the pen out first before inking it. Let's see. Music says the Red Dragon Diamine stopped up a couple of his pens and dried them out.
Wow.
David L. says maybe if it has a rubber sack, he would put the water in it, but otherwise wouldn't. Padrina lives in Denver. If you put something down for 10 minutes, it turns into a prune.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I just go ahead and clean mine immediately, and then I get some tissue, and I damp off my nib and feed, try to get any excess water out, and I let it air dry sometimes, and then I'm done. I put it up. So, people that have abundance pens, let's just say in your pen drawer you have 40, 70 pens. Do you use all your pens? Do you rotate all your pens and give all your pens a chance to be used, or you just use your favorite pens? David's on there.
Yeah. Padrino rotates everything.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's see. David C. says use blotter or paper towels to suck up the excess water.
Yeah.
Let's see. Frank had asked if anybody makes their own pen flush. He's using the Troy LaPlante recipe.
Yeah, and I never did even mention that one, but I've been using that for when I got into the fountain pen world 3 years ago.
And Michael rotates through all his pens. David C. does as well as on some of them.
I just got through with I have 2 Karas custom inks that I just got through, cleaned them, put them up, and 2 Noodlers Ahabs, I put them up, and then I've got 2 other Noodlers pens I'm using right now, and I forgot the other 2, but anyway, they're in my briefcase. And go ahead.
They're talking about Troy's video.
Right now I'm carrying 5 pens, but sometimes I'll carry 12 to 20 pens. Well, okay, folks, it's about that time, so I need to get ready for tomorrow. But tomorrow may come, but I'll follow the sun. Okay, so, hey, I want to thank you all for joining. Go ahead and read the last comments, if there's any.
Let's see. Bradrina asked, did you get the letter in the box when he sent you the royal tangerine?
The letter in the box. I'm sure I did, Petrino. Yeah, I think I put it up already. Yeah, I have a box that I keep all the letters in.
Books Are a Reason asks, what's your current inked collection right now?
Well, I might as well get it out right here. Uh, my current pen or ink collection.
The ones that you have inked up.
Oh, okay. I have the Noodlers, and I've got the Lamy, that new one that came out, the pink one, and another All-Star, and Noodlers, Conrad, and Ahab. And the reason why I haven't used these in quite some time, and they need some love. And I'm trying to look at my ink. Yeah, I'm probably about down to here now, and I just got this in a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. Right down there. That's how much I've used this ink already. Good stuff. Really good stuff. I really, really like that KWZ Hawaii Blue ink. I'm really, really impressed with it. Nice stuff. Just goes onto that paper, just brilliant. All right, folks, well, I'm going to cut it off. Now, hey, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys on Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time. But, hey, God bless, take care, and don't be a pin hog. Share the love. Talk to you later, guys.